So many people love and trust my dad, and that's why the DML News app is one of the top downloaded apps. I hear from people all the time how they rely on the DML News app for so many things, and it is truly unique. For starters, the DML News app provides a non-stop flow of news articles that we aggregate from the top outlets, and then our team of writers insert extra content in the form of tweets, videos, and commentary all in one place. Next, the app provides the free version of the Dennis Michael Lynch podcast every day. We send an app alert when a new podcast is posted. On tab 3, you can watch all of my dad's films for free, including all of his highly acclaimed immigration documentaries, and our new series called America the Beautiful. And then there's my favorite tab, the Deals tab. It offers all the specials being offered at DML CBD, plus other DML merchandise like hats, bumper stickers, and new items that my family adds to our growing list of DML products. Finally, there's tab 5, which gives you access to the Team DML membership site. Tab 5 also provides important links to DML social media and customer support. You can get the DML News app for free at the Google Play Store for Androids and the Apple App Store for iPhones and iPads. Be sure to keep your notifications on so that you never miss important alerts. The DML News app, get it for breaking news, merchandise, films, exclusive content, and Team DML.
Today on the Dennis Michael Lynch podcast, the disaster at the border has been sort of halted for 2 weeks thanks to a federal judge in the state of Florida. Plus, Elon Musk goes uber liberal, woke even, with his CEO announcement, and a Democrat senator gets chased off stage by climate idiots. I have these stories and more on this Friday, so get ready because it's all unfiltered.
Dennis Michael Lynch gives you his word, and he will never let you down. He will always fight for America.
The only one who really puts his money where his mouth is Dennis Michael Lynch.
Hello, I'm Dennis Michael Lynch, and I thank you for joining me today. On this day in 1925, New York Yankee great Yogi Berra was born. You know, Yogi Berra was a simple guy. I'm telling you, he would listen to this podcast. He would like it. And one of the reasons being is because Yogi Berra used to use really easy to understand quotes, such as, "It isn't over until it's over." And so I must express to you here today that he would have been right, spot on, in terms of the southern border. Because the border mess isn't as bad today as it was going to be yesterday when I was with you at 8 o'clock last night. Yesterday, I gave you a very hard-hitting podcast, which from an audio standpoint, let me just say this, for those of you who listen to this program on audio only, I apologize to you. We uploaded the wrong program. So you listened to May 10th twice in a row. That said, I've corrected the problem. We've corrected the problem in the correct podcast. If you didn't listen to it yesterday, you got to listen to it. It's fantastic. It's about the rise and fall of America. And now it's up there. So my apologies. It was all my fault, not Ryan's fault. Nobody else's, my fault. So like I said, it's up there now. You could listen to it. But more importantly, going back to what I was talking to you last night about, the situation at the border is so bad, it's collapsing. And in many aspects, it is the end of America as we know it. We are going to be inundated and swamped with so many third world migrants that they will end up being eventually the majority in this country. Uneducated, unskilled, expecting everything for free, no allegiance to our flag or to what it took your parents or grandparents or great-grandparents to create this country into what it once was. But thankfully today, I'm not coming to you here. Tonight, we are not talking about how the collapse has actually finished. As Yogi Berra said, it isn't over until it's over. And the reason why we still have a little life left in our step here is because last night, in sort of like the 11th and a half hour, a federal judge stepped in, thank goodness. And we are going to give you all the details here about what he did, what he said, why he said it, and everything that else has happened from last night and even going into today. But before I get into that, I have to tell you about our sponsor for this program today, Field of Greens. I've been in the media business for 15 years, and I have been offered countless endorsements before, countless, because they know that when I say something, I mean it. And when I mean it, I'm passionate about it. The only time that I have ever supported a product that didn't have DML on it, Team DML, DML News App, DML CBD, is you could see it right back on there on the shelf. Field of Greens. Field of Greens. I use Field of Greens every single day. What is it? It is a organic superfood. It is specifically chosen by a doctor. He takes all the different ingredients. It's like taking all the fruits and vegetables, all those vegetables that you don't want to eat. I don't like eating vegetables. I don't like the texture. I don't like preparing it. In fact, the only way I'll eat them is if my wife dounces butter all over them. And then what's the point? You're losing the impact. So I've been told by my doctor before, you got to start putting more greens into your body, Dennis. And I'm like, I just can't do it. I don't like it. In comes Field of Greens. I'm down 33 pounds so far this year. Field of Greens has been one of the things in my life, gone completely vegetables in terms of getting the Field of Greens. So they came to me and said, hey, would you endorse this product? I said, absolutely, because I use it and I believe in it. And I know that all the studies show that healthy food, healthy eating is what can help you live a healthier, longer life. So Field of Greens, I'm going to show it to you right here. I use it. It comes with a scooper. It's a powder. You put it in a big vat of water like I do. You mix it. It's that simple. It actually tastes like lemonade and iced tea put together. I like the lemon lime. But they have different flavors there. The dollar amount that you'll spend on this with the coupon code I'm going to give you is far less than if you were to try to buy 30 days of vegetables and fruits and all the other different goodies that you're supposed to be eating to make yourself healthy. You use this after 30, 60 days, you go to the doctor, and if that doctor doesn't noticeably see that you've done something good for yourself, call them up. Field of Greens, they said they give you the money back. You could learn all about it from fieldofgreens.com. But basically, you just sit there, you mix the powder. It is the easiest thing. No prep time, no oven. You don't have to be a cook, nothing. It's the easiest thing in the world. In fact, you're going to see, and I am going to wind up drinking it for the rest of this show. You'll see it. Fieldofgreens.com, put in the code at the very end when you're checking out, at the very end, put in the code DML. You'll get 15% off. And then on top of that, if you become a subscriber to them, meaning you get it every month like I do, you'll save another 10%. Fieldofgreens.com, coupon code DML. Start becoming healthy. There's nothing better than being healthy. Give yourself a shot. Fieldofgreens.com. Okay, so with that said, don't forget to go to fieldofgreens.com and get yours. But getting back to our main topic here, a federal judge on Thursday, he blocked the Biden administration from implementing a policy that allows the release of migrants without court dates. He did this just before, hours before the end of Title 42 collapsed, went out. The judge, his name is T. Kent Wetherill II, mouthful there. He imposed a 2-week restraining order on the Biden administration saying, hey, man, this thing here that you're trying to do, releasing people, parole, getting rid of these migrants, just putting them into the country based on parolee with conditions, So let me step back and explain to you how it all sort of works. The policy, the parolee policy, if you will, was outlined in a Border Patrol memo this week. And it says that migrants can be allowed into the country on parole. Now, this is a process typically sort of reserved for urgent humanitarian reasons or significant public benefit. Remember that. Urgent humanitarian reasons or significant public benefit is why there is a parolee program. So in this particular case, the Biden administration is saying, hey, it applies here because if Customs and Border Protection faces overcrowding, well, then we've got to release these people on the parolee program. They're just allowed to go wherever they want, no court date, no paperwork, no nothing. Sort of, you just come into the front door, you raise your hand, say hello, and they say, go ahead, where are you going? North, west, south, east, huh? Where are you going? So the memo that was going around calls the practice parolee with conditions. So migrants are required to make an appointment with Immigration and Customs Enforcement or request a notice to appear by mail. By mail. How are we mailing this to them? Now, under a parolee release program, migrants are rapidly released into the country. They do not get an alien registration number and do not receive a court date. So think about how contradictory this is. We're going to set you in on parolee. Hey, you're going to meet with an immigration officer or something. How? Oh, by mail. Where are you going? I'm not sure where I'm going. All right, well, you know what? Don't worry about it. It's basically a BS story. It's another lie from the Biden administration. The truth of the matter is, you want me to water this down in a Yogi Berra way? Yeah. You can't find a person who is allowed to hide in plain daylight. You don't know who their name is. You don't know what their name is. You don't know where they're going. You just let them into your country. You roll the dice and hope that they're not going to rape, steal, kill. It's crazy. It's playing Russian roulette with America. Now, the use of parolee is being authorized if a sector capacity goes above 125%. So if agents apprehend, let's say, 7,000 people a day, well, no, actually, I'll even roll back. If they apprehend 7,000 people a day over 74 hours, or so that means like for 3 days in a row, if they're capturing 7,000 people a day, or if the average time in custody goes above 60 hours, agents have been encountering over 10,000 migrants a day since Monday. So think about this. And there's no signs that it's going to slow down. So anything that's over 7,000, you're just going to release them into the public. And if you've taken those 7,000 and you've held them for 60 hours, you're going to release them too. So even though there's a lot of, if this happens and that happens and this happens, basically everybody's going to be released. That's the easiest way of saying it. So Florida, good old Florida, steps into this process. So Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody sued the Biden administration after media reports emerged of all these planned releases through the parolee program. What she did was she argued that the policy was materially identical to a parolee plus ATD policy, which was blocked by the same judge in March. So Judge Weatherthrow agreed with that assessment in his order. DHS had warned that blocking the use of parolee has the potential to cause chaos at the border and estimated that doing so would result in an overwhelming 45,000 migrants in custody by the end of May. So the judge said he did not find those arguments persuasive. Putting aside the fact, this is the quote from the judge, putting aside the fact that even President Biden recently acknowledged that the border has been in chaos for a number of years, and we're going to play that video for you in a second, defendants' doomsday rhetoric rings hollow because, as explained in detail in Florida, this problem is largely one of the defendants' own making, meaning Biden's own making, through the adoption and implementation of policies that encourage the so-called irregular migration that has become fairly regular over the past 2 years. The judge scheduled a hearing for a preliminary injunction May 19. So basically what this judge is saying is, hey, Biden, don't tell us about this thing is irregular and this is the only thing you've got to do. This is by design. You created this issue and you want these people released into the country. And I'm not just going to stand here and allow you to play with the parolee program and just make your own rules. This thing is its stay, meaning it doesn't move anywhere. Those people aren't coming in, and we're revisiting this thing. Here is the Biden video. It's 14 seconds. It's kind of noisy with a helicopter in the background. But here's Biden answering a reporter saying that, yeah, it's been chaos at the border for the last couple of years. Take a listen to this.
Say that again.
Can you expand on what you meant when you said there will be chaos at the border? For how long?
Well, we've had chaos at the border for a number of years.
That is completely untrue. What is being said right there by Joe Biden is completely untrue. I want to remind you that when Donald J. Trump became the president of the United States, and I'm talking about right at the very beginning, because he had issued such hard-hitting rhetoric during his campaign leading into the 2016 election, because he had almost led every speech with promises on immigration between building the wall, having mass deportation squads, cracking down on DACA, putting in mandatory e-verify. Basically, Donald J. Trump took the playbook right out of Dennis Michael Lynch and just read it. And so what happened was illegal aliens, migrants, people from all over the world and here in the country knew the party was over. People here in the country were like, hey, we got to get out. We got to get out. This guy's going to take the money we've made and saved. We got to get out. People started to leave, but more importantly, people weren't coming. In April, just a short few months after he had actually taken the Oval Office, I'm talking about Trump, illegal immigration, apprehensions down at the southern border were between 15 and 20,000. 15 and 20,000 for an entire month of April, whereas right now we're seeing 400,000. So just his rhetoric alone shut that border down, and it was crickets for the longest time. Obviously, it changed, and that was Trump's doing, and we'll give him a rookie pass on that, because what happened is that Trump wanted his border wall. The Democrats wouldn't give him the border wall. They were opposing it. He even had people on his own side saying they weren't going to give him the money for the border wall. So Trump tried to do what Trump knows how to do, which is negotiate. So he said, all right, well, let's do this. We'll try to negotiate with the Democrats and at the same time smoke them out. We will give them DACA. I was going to pull DACA away. I was going to tell no good for DACA too. If they care so much about these kids, we will give them DACA. We'll keep DACA in place in exchange for the border wall. That's how it went. What wound up ultimately taking place was that the Democrats said, no, we don't really care about DACA as much as we pretend to. You're not getting your border wall. The problem with that whole negotiation is that the rest of the world said, oh, Trump loves DACA kids? Well, why don't we send all of our kids? Let's get over there. He loves us. And then that's when the surge began again. But then what Trump did to try to stop the bleeding is he created the Remain in Mexico policy. And then, of course, COVID came. We had Title 42 and things at the border between the combination of the two, the stay in Mexico, remain in Mexico, and with the COVID-19 Title 42, the border started to slow down again. It started to become a situation where it was getting underneath 100,000 because it had gone to about 150,000 when the surge under Trump was bad. Still half of what we got now under Biden, but it started to go down. It went from 100 to 75, down to 65, and then obviously during COVID, it was almost nothing. Biden comes in, starts all of his rhetoric on day one, stops that Remain in Mexico policy, says all these different things during his presidency. Oh, yeah, you know what? We need fair immigration, all the other stuff. And now everybody's coming. Everybody's coming. In fact, I'm not the only one who's saying this. Ted Cruz is down at the border, and he's got the lefty media trying to tell him something that's untrue, and he absolutely unleashes on them. Take a listen to Ted Cruz eviscerate this freak of the media.
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you something. What rate of illegal immigration did we have in 2020? Do you know anything? I asked you a question. Do you know anything?
How long have you been in office?
I've been in office 11 years now.
And this has been
Okay.
kicked the count during multiple administrations.
Except you're okay. You don't get to argue with me. You asked your question. You asked your question. You don't get. You want to hold a press conference? You can do it over there.
You have
How are you?
You want to hold a press conference? You can do it over there.
How are you?
So hold on. I'm going to answer his question. The talking point of the Democrats, which this media reporter happily parrots, is, gosh, the problem can't be fixed. There's one little problem with that. It is an utter and complete lie. In 2020, the last year of the Trump presidency, we had the lowest rate of illegal immigration in 45 years. You ask, what have I done? I've championed the men and women of Border Patrol. I've championed securing the border. I've championed Remain in Mexico. And we turned this problem around and solved it. And we went from Joe Biden inherited the lowest rate of illegal immigration in 45 years. And the first day in office, he made political decisions to cause this problem. And you should be ashamed of yourself because you're a reporter and you're not reporting facts. You're telling lies. Joe Biden made a political decision.
So Cruz is 100% correct. Cruz is 100% correct, as I explained to you before he did. Now, changing gears here a little bit, but still sticking within this topic, I take you away from the border and go back up to Washington, D.C. Last night, the House of Representatives debated the Secure the Border Act of 2023, which lays out sweeping new requirements and restrictions for securing the southern border. The bill passed 219 to 213. Two Republicans, Representatives Thomas Massey and John Durant, voted alongside the Democrats. They voted with the Democrats against the bill. Now, let me give you, I can't give you the answer for Durant, John Durant, but I can tell you Thomas Massey, but I'll get to Massey in a second. And this is, you're not going to get this anywhere else but exactly right here from DML and DML News app. And by the way, let me just say, download the DML News app. The DML News app is sensational. In fact, we just had a meeting all day today. Ashley, Denny, Ryan, myself, we are absolutely revamping the entire app. We're going to make it even better than ever before. Probably within the next month to 2 months, you are just going to absolutely love it. And starting on Monday, you'll be able to get the app ad-free for just $24 a year, basically $2 a month. And what we're going to let you do is sign up for $1, try it for 30 days. If you don't like it, you're out. You spent $1. If you like it, then we'll charge you the rest of the money and you'll be set. You'll never have to worry about any of those things that you've been worried about with ads up till this date. I mean, it's going to be sensational. So this way, right now, go for free. Download the DML News app from the Google Play or the Apple App Store. Get it. Put it on your phone. Put the notifications on. Give the thing a whirl. It's completely free. Yeah, there's going to be ads on there, but take a look at it. And we're going to be adding so much extra stuff to that app. It's going to be the best there ever has been. Now, getting back to the bill. So this bill was introduced to the House of Representatives originally on May 2 in anticipation of the whole flood that I have been showing you all week long of all these illegal aliens coming from the third world, expected in the wake of the Title 42 coming to a conclusion, right? The bill calls for the immediate resumption of border wall construction, no later than 7 days after the bill is enacted, using previously set aside funds and materials for its construction. Because if you've seen what it looks like down there, Trump's border wall, the stuff that you and I paid for, is laying on the ground. Laying on the ground. And it has been. In fact, it's funny. I don't know if we've got the video. If we do, we'll throw it up here. There's actually some of the wall now is being picked off the ground and put into the places where it was supposed to go by the Biden administration, because you want to know something? They bit off more than they can chew.
This hastily erected section of border fence is very busy at night because of these holes you see here. And this isn't part of the border fence that was not completed under the Trump administration because he was blocked from doing so. And they left all these construction materials just laying around in the desert for the last couple of years. But now the Biden administration is hurriedly and hastily trying to complete parts of this fence because of the massive wave of migration that has been caused by the Biden policies.
Take a sip of my Field of Dreams, Field of Field of Green. That's a Field of Dreams. Yeah. Okay. So no later than 180 days after this bill is enacted, a report needs to be submitted to congressional committees that outlines a strategic 5-year technology investment plan for border security, including potential upgrades in security technology, communications equipment, screening equipment, incorporating input from the private sector. I mean, they listed everything on here, these Republicans. Now, and also, in an effort to retain Border Patrol personnel, the bill will authorize up to $100 million in appropriated funds for the Commissioner of the U.S. Customs and Border Protection to give to frontline agents who hold a position equal to or below level GS-12, has been with Border Patrol for 5 years or longer, and commits 2 additional years of service with Border Patrol upon acceptance of the bonus. And I'll tell you why that's important, because the morale at the Border Patrol is horrific. We're putting these guys in and gals in the worst possible scenario, having to deal with these migrants all the time. We're going to lose them. We got to be able to retain them. So the bill also requires that the commissioner hire and train enough Border Patrol agents to maintain an active duty presence of no less than 22,000 full-time agents. The bill also includes a provision prohibiting the requirement to take a COVID-19 vaccine or adverse actions taken against the Department of Homeland Security employee. The Secretary of Homeland Security would be required to send a report no later than 60 days after the bill is enacted on whether Mexican drug cartels meet the criteria for being designated as a foreign terrorist organization. I mean, this bill is sensational. The bill amends the Immigration and Nationality Act, stating that those found not to be eligible for parole shall be deported from the country. Hello? The bill also increases penalties for illegal entry or presence in the country from $50 to $250, because that's the range, up to $500 to $1,000. And don't say they don't got the money, because they're paying that to the cartels. Illegal aliens who overstay a visa are subject to imprisonment of no more than 6 months and or a fine of the first offense, and a fine and no more than 2 years of imprisonment for subsequent offenses. Send them to prison. It will end. Let that video go viral. The bill also mandates, get ready for this, drum roll please, the use of E-Verify, which is a system used to check if a person is authorized to work in the United States. I have been screaming about this forever. Mandatory E-Verify. It's a no-brainer. So why would Thomas Massie, a Republican, reject this bill? Why? Well, I can tell you this. He's been all over Twitter saying that he's going to reject that bill and vote against it because E-Verify is no good for the American people. My ass. My ass. If you've ever applied for a job, you know you got to hand over your social security number, your driver's license, you got to fill out an application, you got to sign your name at the bottom, you got to get everything all legalized so this way you can get your paycheck, so this way you get your 401k benefits if you get that, you can get your health benefits. You're getting screened. But this Massie idiot is trying to make it sound as if the government's going to be spying on you and keeping you from getting a job. My ass. I can smell the BS a mile away. So I go on Twitter and I respond to him like, what are you talking about that E-Verify is bad? What are you talking about? First of all, this guy is so clueless, or he is, and he does know what he's talking about, but he's hiding it over. If you are a government contractor, so if you're Lockheed Martin, you have to hire using mandatory E-Verify. Okay? So like I said, this guy has been screaming on the top of his lungs that this is bad. It's like the Patriot Act. It didn't smell. It smelled wrong. So what did I do? Because I knew what I was going to find. I wrote on this show, I think it was on just the other day, I said, we need to look up who his donors are. So would you know it? Just prior to the show, a few hours ago, I look it up. The number one donor for Thomas Massie is a company called Morningstar. And Morningstar is a tomato processing and packaging company. Who do you know that works at the food packaging plants? Gee, could it be illegal aliens? Abso-freaking-lutely. The number one donor to Thomas Massie is a tomato processing and packaging company. Gee, I wonder why Thomas Massie doesn't want mandatory e-verify. Now, not that I want to piss you off more on a Friday evening, but look at this video. Illegals are being given free cell phones when they are checked in, and you and I are paying for it. Here you go. Take a look. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. By the way, this is delicious drink. Lemon lime. Tastes like lemon lime. Ryan, show him one more. Take a look at one more. Just one more shot of all these illegal aliens lining up to come in to your country. Because let me tell you the one thing about the whole 2-week stay from the judge, and I appreciate what he did. These people are going to get pissed off, and they are just going to cross the border in a spot where there are no authorities from the United States. There are no border patrol. There are no whatever. They're going to just sneak in, and they're just going to go through it the regular process. They're not going to sit back in Mexico and wait for 2 weeks. They're just not going to do it. They're not going to do it. Because the Mexican authorities, by the way, are complicit in all this. They're giving them travel visas. They're giving them illegal travel visas to travel through Mexico to get right to the United States. The way you solve this freaking problem is that you put tariffs on Mexico. That's what Trump was going to do, and he pulled it off the last second. You put tariffs on Mexico. You strain them. You gag them. You just take out their breath, which is basically money, and this crap ends. Look at this video. That's the thing about it, so you keep on mixing this up. So I keep mixing this all the time, and you can see, I mean, it just dissolves in there, for the most part, and it's actually delicious. So healthy. Anyway, moving on past the border, Dennis put this all together here. We're going to talk about Elon Musk and Twitter, and just sometimes you just can't believe what you're seeing happen in front of you. I told you about how it is that we had a big, huge meeting here today. We're talking about the future of our app, and we're looking at demographics and everything else. And the lion's share of our audience is 45 and over. We have those statistics. And one of the fastest growing parts of our audience is that 24 to 35-year-old. And I think that's now because of our new presence on Rumble. Well, when you look at Twitter, same thing. A big, huge portion of the Twitter audience is that 24 to 45-year-old. So we've been contemplating, where do we put a lot of our marketing efforts? And so we really want to balance. We want to have everybody, we want everybody using our app of all ages. And so we were talking about how Twitter was going to be a big place where we were going to really start advertising and pushing. And now I'm going to change my mind on that quickly. I'm going to change my mind. I'm not going to use my money on Twitter. And I'll tell you why, because it's like, it's shooting myself in the foot. It's going to be just like Facebook was. Elon Musk announced that he chose a new CEO to run the company. He's going to be the chairman. And this new CEO is a female. Her name is Linda Yaccarino. So Dennis put this together for me. Let me kind of give this to you because I'm not totally familiar with her. I've seen enough now though, to say I don't like it. So he's chosen this Yaccarino. We'll just say Linda to make it easy because I'm horrible with last names. So he chooses Linda. She's going to be the new CEO. And it's not good. It's not good at all. So Musk has pushed Twitter. He's been telling all of us that the reason why he bought it is because free speech is so important, and he wanted it to be the ultimate free speech platform. And as you may recall, the old Twitter that was basically founded and then ran by Jack Dorsey was anything but free. I mean, I was one of the people in the Twitter files marked, unfairly so, as being a Russia propagandist. My God. I've never even used Russian dressing on a salad, let alone be a Russian propagandist. But anyway, so he buys this thing for how much, Dennis? 40 billion? $40 billion he buys it. He wasted it at 44 billion, I thought it was. He's wasted his money. But anyway, let's stick with the woman. So his selection of Linda, might put some problems back into the mix of having free speech. And I'll give you a rundown of her background and explain why I'm telling you this woman is the wrong choice. Everybody on the right, everybody who has been so happy with the new Twitter is up in arms on this. I haven't heard one people say, it's a good thing. Number one, she has been the head of advertising at NBC Universal for more than a decade. So she's been sitting in a freaking liberal swamp for 10 years. NBC. You can't get any more liberal than NBC. In fact, if you asked me, who do I think's the worst, ABC, NBC, or CBS, I'd have to say NBC because they also have MSNBC. She was a key leader in the launch of the company's ad-supported Peacock streaming service, which wasn't all that good, by the way, right? It was a bomb, Dennis? It was a bomb. She served 19 years at Turner Entertainment and has been credited with dragging the network's ad sales operation into the digital future. So that could be why Elon likes her, because he's trying to figure out how it is to best work the advertising end of Twitter. Well, he's going to be losing so much audience, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. She graduated from Penn State, which means she's indoctrinated. She studied what? Liberal arts. There you go. And telecommunications. In other words, they taught her how to use a phone and be an activist. So Linda interviewed Musk going back at an advertising conference in Miami. I think it was last month. She actually interviewed him. Maybe that's where he fell in love. Who knows? At the conference, Linda encouraged the audience to welcome Musk with applause and lauded his ethic, his work ethic. But she also talked about content moderation, which is another way of saying you can't post anything we don't like. Here's the clip. Take a listen.
Will you commit to be a little more specific and not tweet after 3 a.m.? People in this room would like to see that. It'll make them feel more confident.
I will aspire to tweet less after 3 a.m. But I mean, it is important that, if I were to say, yes, you can influence me, that would be wrong. That would be very wrong. Because that would be a diminishment of freedom of speech.
But I want to be specific about influencing. It's more of an open feedback loop for the advertising experts in this room to help develop Twitter into a place where they will be excited about investing more money, product development, ad safety, content moderation. That's what the influence is.
Now, Linda is an executive chairwoman for the World Economic Forum. So this woman's resume gets worse with each line item. Okay? She is the executive chairwoman of the World Economic Forum, also known as the place that wants to have one world order. Also the place that says everybody should be looking up at China as being the beacon of what to be. This woman is so compromised, it is insane. She believes in the one world. If you don't believe in one world order, if you don't believe in what the World Economic Forum stands for, you're not going to be the executive chairwoman. I mean, my God, you couldn't get a more worse person for this spot. Now, when it comes to the whole, remember, one of the big things over at Twitter for the last couple of years, where people were getting their accounts shut down, they were being limited, they were being shadow banned, they were just getting kicked off entirely, was because of stuff with COVID. God forbid you said anything about COVID that didn't go along with the WHO or the Biden administration or Anthony Fauci. You were basically put down as a denier. You were put down as a liar, as somebody who was spreading mis and disinformation. So the last thing you want in your CEO is somebody who came from the World Economic Forum and somebody who came from the most liberal freaking media outlet there possibly is in the United States, and somebody who was pro-mask. Pro-mask. Somebody told you to mask up. How stupid can you be? First of all, anybody with any kind of smarts knows that a mask didn't work. It never worked, even though we were told to double mask. And what finally came back? Mask didn't work. Not to mention the fact that just human, it's human. If God, God gave you eyelids to cover your eyes, to protect your eyes from the elements, and to help you sleep at night. If he didn't want your nose and mouth to be exposed to the world, he would have made a nose lid and a mouth lid. He doesn't want you to wear a condom on your face. That's basically what this is. A mask is a condom on your face. And she was totally pro-mask. She also helped lead the mass media campaign to support and promote the poison. You know what I'm talking about? The poison. The thing that makes people die suddenly? Play the video. Go ahead.
We're not here to talk about that. We are here to talk about masking up or packing up. I promise you, we're doing good so far. Just keep your distance, get your hands washed often, get tested often, and wear your mask. That'll get us closer and closer to normal days. We are resilient. We are tough. Keep doing it. And we'll be back at Beaver Stadium before you know it. Mask up or pack up. We're almost there. We are.
Oh, I'm not done. There's more to layer on. Yep, more to layer on. You almost wish that Dennis didn't do his job so well. You wish that Dennis would have left some of this stuff out. Dennis Jr. is what I'm talking about, by the way, not me. Forbes, left-leaning, I shouldn't even say leaning, left falling over itself Forbes magazine listed her as part of the 100 most powerful women in the world. Not in the state of California, not even in the United States or the Northern Hemisphere, in the world. 100 women who are the most powerful women in the world. She's one of them. You know what that means? That means that she's buddies with all people from all around the world. And if you haven't figured this out yet, the majority of the world absolutely hates the United States of America. She has led partnerships on behalf of NBC with Snapchat and YouTube. You know how freedom they are when it comes to how free they are when it comes to letting you say what you want to say. And she's been in charge of advertising schedules for the Olympics and the Super Bowl. Radical 1, Radical 2. You know the Super Bowl, the NFL, the ones who take the knee, and you know the Olympics. You know the Olympics, the ones that were led in Beijing. She is also a big supporter of, get this one, because this is important, diversity in the workplace. She is all into the equity. And she even bragged about hiring 50% of women and 50% of color for NBC. Can't make it up. Take a listen.
So what immediately started happening was that under the leadership of Brian Roberts and Jeff Shell, Comcast set up a fund to the value of $100 million to fight social justice and equality, and obviously supporting many, many important groups. But it really made a very public statement that we're going to put our money where our mouth is. We're not going anywhere. And it inspired action across every corner of our company. Because what it also did was made leadership of our company accountable. We have this $100 million. What are you doing? What's the update? Where are you with that? But it also gave a lot of us opportunity to say, here's our update. How can you help? What do you think we should be doing? Our new chairman of news, who made a public statement that was confronting editorial bias and saying, my division, our news division, the biggest news division in the country, is going to be 50% women and 50% people of color. Ambitious goals? Yes, no doubt about it. But a statement, a stake in the ground with accountability. And I'm happy to say there's many, many other examples of progress at our company, divisions like mine, working with Add Color and T. Howard Foundation. So there's so many examples of us trying to listen, learn, but do. And I'll say the do, I'll say where our goal is really to be intentional about when we go back and give those report outs, that we're accountable and we can report progress and that we're proud of what we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's absolutely insane. Let me take a sip. Yeah. You should be doing the Field of Greens thing, man. I just got all the stuff I need. The cauliflower, everything green is going into my body. And that's why I feel like $1 million. Anyway, I want you to answer me in the comments section. I'll take a look right now here on the Rumble, and I'll take a look on Team DML in the comments section. I'll take a look. I want you to tell me right now, if you were Elon Musk and you dropped $44 billion and you wanted to have the best free speech platform in the world, if you wanted to be able to make money on your investment and bring more people to your platform, would you hire this woman? Would you? This woman is the poster child for woke. What is he thinking? What is he thinking? Because I got to tell you something. Here we are, a small business. That's the kind of business he wants to get. You know, Facebook doesn't make the majority of its advertising on big businesses, ExxonMobil putting out ads. The majority of their money is from the small businesses that say, hey, I finally have a chance of controlling what kind of advertising I want and who I can target. You think Twitter is going to wind up getting my money? I don't even know if I want to spend my time on there anymore. It is insane. James Woods put up, I want to put this tweet up. James Woods, the actor, conservative actor, put up a tweet I think is the best question of all. It says, who got to him? And that is the question. Somebody got to him because what he's done in this case is crazy. It's so crazy that you can hear the sirens. The crazy laugh.
Every day, the Democrat Party is becoming more and more unhinged and more extreme. They're going crazy.
Earlier in the week, we spoke to you about Joe Biden and his family and how the Republicans have come up with documentation that they say that the Biden family, and we're talking about not just Hunter and Joe, but Joe's brother and Beau Biden's wife and grandchildren, a whole line of them have received about $10 million from foreign nations that gave money to various different LLCs, sort of like this little money laundering, money hiding scheme. and ultimately wound up into the bank accounts of the Bidens. And they've subpoenaed the FBI to try to get documents, and everybody's trying to push this thing off. But the Republicans are this close, it looks like, to grabbing Joe Biden for his nefarious deeds. How much time do you think that ABC, NBC, or CBS have given to that story? No time at all. Zero. The mainstream media covers up for this man time and time again. Elon Musk just hired one of those executives. But regardless, Joe Biden is an epic disaster. That's no news. You don't need me to tell you that. But we found a video that was perfect for the crazy left here today. The biggest stain, other than what we see going on at the border and obviously inflation, when it comes to his management of the country, the biggest stain on Joe Biden and maybe this country of all time was our withdrawal out of Afghanistan. We did it in it was almost like it was like a building on fire, And we left all of our assets, all of our military assets, we left them in Afghanistan. That's not what it is that Donald J. Trump had planned. But Joe Biden just abruptly took everybody out, like in a matter of days, left all of our equipment behind. We saw people falling off airplanes trying to escape, and we lost a lot of service members in what was a suicide bombing. That was what Joe Biden did in Afghanistan, and he called it a success. Well, a younger Joe Biden back in 2007 was in like a town hall sort of environment and explained what it would really take to get out of Afghanistan and the dangers of not getting our military assets out of there. Listen to this.
It's a big difference to tell the American people the truth about what our options are in ending this war. If tomorrow the order goes out from I'm President of the United States, I issue an order, end the war today, begin to withdraw all American troops. It will take a year to get the American troops out. Do you hear me now? That's the truth. It will take a year to get them physically out. Now, if you leave all the equipment behind, you might be able to do it in 7 months. And you leave those billions of dollars of weapons behind, I promise they're going to be used against your grandchild and mine someday. And you leave those billions of dollars of weapons behind, I promise they're going to be used against your grandchild and mine someday.
Yeah. Did you hear what he said there at the end? One of these days, those military assets will be used against your kids, your grandkids, and your great-grandkids. And that's why that guy is just absolutely not only crazy, but downright evil. I've told you, Democrats are the devil, or the devil is a Democrat, whichever way you prefer to say it. With that said, I want to show you one more thing to make you feel a little good before we break out here. Amy Klobuchar, the Democrat senator from Minnesota, who ran for president and dropped out so this way she could endorse Joe Biden. Well, she's written a book. And so she was being interviewed at one of her book readings, book event, and it was interrupted by climate change warriors. That's right. The climate change people are even going after their own. So for those of you who are just listening to this and not seeing it, imagine Klobuchar sitting up on stage being interviewed. I think she's being interviewed by Dana Bash of CNN. And all of a sudden, up comes all these kids with banners, sits in front of them, and Klobuchar, by security, has to be walked off stage. Get a load of this and just smile as you see it happen.
I got to call the staff about Burma. So that was like bad. Be a climate leader. Live your values. 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 Be a climate leader.
Ending drilling on federal land that
All right, that's it for us here on this Friday. Listen, let me go through some of the things you need to know real quick. Don't forget, go to fieldofgreens.com, fieldofgreens.com, 15% off when you use the code DML. I highly suggest the lemon lime. Other people like that. I think it's the raspberry. There's a bunch of different great things there. We get our deliveries now. We're a regular subscriber. And if you subscribe as well, you get an additional 10% off. Don't forget, at the very end of checkout, it's like one of the last things you do. It's going to ask you for the code. Just put in DML. You'll save yourself a bunch of money. And I promise, within about 30 days, you're really going to start feeling the difference. And you've watched me drink this the whole show. It's easy to drink. It tastes pretty good. I mean, look at all that. You know what I mean? I just taken a lot. So it's fantastic. It's going to last you it lasts me about 30 days. And when you look at how much money it costs, it's less, I think it's less than $75. It costs $60. Or when you buy two, it's even less than that. Go figure out how much it's going to cost you for 30 days of the best vegetables you could possibly get. The best fruits and vegetables it's going to cost you hundreds of dollars now with inflation. So not only are you filling yourself up with great stuff, but as far as I'm concerned, you're saving your money compared to having to go out there and prepare all the food and everything else. Fieldofgreens.com. DML is the code. Save 15% for your first order and 10% if you subscribe. You don't have to subscribe in order to buy, by the way. Go there and check that out. Also, download the DML News app. Don't forget to do that. Put the notifications on. You can get it from the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store, depending on your device, obviously, Android or on Apple. And you're good to go with us forever and ever. I'm also going to be coming to you here tomorrow night on Rumble, on rumble.com/DML. I'm going to be coming to you again tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern, giving you an extra show, and the people at Rumble, an extra show. It will also be on the DML News app. And don't forget, last but not least, baby, it's always right here next to me, DML CBD Miracle Me Pain Relief Body Oil. I lather it on every single morning before I go and do my walk and talks for an hour and a half. And I got to tell you something, the inflammation goes away. You've got the most beautiful skin in the world. It takes away the eczemas for some people. My wife, she had eczema all over. It's all gone. It helps with all the skin. It makes you feel amazing, amazing. I'll tell you what, you put this and this together in your life, and you're friggin' rocking and rolling, baby. Yeah, if you order a bottle of DML CBD Miracle Me Pain Relief Body Oil, you will get a free membership to Team DML for 1 year. For 1 year. Yep, it's pretty cool. So that's it for us. On behalf of Ryan, Denny, Ashley, myself, everybody on Team DML, we wish you a great Friday evening. If I don't see you again, all you moms out there, have a great Mother's Day. Have a great Mother's Day. And we will be with you, God willing, on Monday. Until then, may God bless you, your family, our first responders, our Border Patrol, and our troops, these United States, and every mom out there. You got the toughest job in the world, and without you, there wouldn't be any of the rest of us. Stay well.
So many people love and trust my dad, and that's why the DML News app is one of the top downloaded apps. I hear from people all the time how they rely on the DML News app for so many things, and it is truly unique. For starters, the DML News app provides a non-stop flow of news articles that we aggregate from the top outlets, and then our team of writers insert extra content in the form of tweets, videos, and commentary all in one place. Next, the app provides the free version of the Dennis Michael Lynch podcast every day. We send an app alert when a new podcast is posted. On tab 3, you can watch all of my dad's films for free, including all of his highly acclaimed immigration documentaries, and our new series called America the Beautiful. And then there's my favorite tab, the Deals tab. It offers all the specials being offered at DML CBD, plus other DML merchandise like hats, bumper stickers, and new items that my family adds to our growing list of DML products. Finally, there is tab 5, which gives you access to the Team DML membership site. Tab 5 also provides important links to DML social media and customer support. You can get the DML News app for free at the Google Play Store for Androids and the Apple App Store for iPhones and iPads. Be sure to keep your notifications on so that you never miss important alerts. The DML News app, get it for breaking news, merchandise, films, exclusive content, and Team DML.